Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cori if you're new here, and if you are new here, please consider subscribing because I post new videos every single week. So as you can tell by the title, I took a break from caffeine for a whole 7 days, and that's like really hard for me. And I'm going to share with you guys why I did so and why you might want to consider taking a break from caffeine as well. So just a little backstory. I started drinking coffee in the morning like 7 years ago. I started when I was like a junior in high school, and that truck is really loud, sorry. Yeah, so I started drinking coffee when I was about a junior in high school, and I have had caffeine, some sort of caffeine, every single day since. So I noticed that I felt really tired in the middle of the day, and especially right after I would drink like my afternoon coffee, and I would just notice a big slump in my overall energy levels. So I started to look into it and start to learn more about how caffeine can affect your body, and you will be interested to hear what I found out. And also, I didn't just drink like 1 cup of coffee in the morning and I was good. No, I am one of those crazy people. I would have like 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I would have a venti sized Starbucks sometimes in the afternoon when I'm at work, and then I would have pre-workout before I went to go exercise at the gym. That's a lot of caffeine. I don't know the calculations right off the top of my head of how many grams of caffeine that is, but that's like a lot, and that couldn't be good for me, so I looked it up. So what I found is that coffee itself is actually pretty good for you if you drink it in moderation. It contains a lot of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and other good things for your body, and it's also been shown to increase vitality in humans. That's a good thing. But if you are taking it way out of proportion and drinking a bunch of coffee with like the lattes and the frappuccinos and stuff from Starbucks, obviously those aren't healthy for you because they're packed with sugar. And also, if you're drinking more than the recommended amount per day, it's not good for your heart, it's not good for your blood pressure, and it can also increase anxiety and other things like that because it's increasing your heart rate. And if you drink an excess of caffeine, obviously you can reach a point to where it can give you a heart attack because it's just too much caffeine for your heart to handle. But what I found the most interesting, I kind of knew all of that stuff just, you know, from common knowledge, but what I didn't know, I was curious to see why I was feeling so tired all the time. And that is because our brains produce a neurotransmitter called adenosine. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'll pop it up on the screen so you can look it up yourself if you want. So what adenosine is basically what makes us feel tired, and it gives us that feeling of tiredness. So what caffeine does whenever you are drinking it, it enters your blood-brain barrier and it blocks off that feeling, which is great, right? But however, our brain's way of combating that is creating more of that neurotransmitter, adenosine. So the more coffee you drink, the more adenosine your brain produces, which makes you feel more tired. Of course, right after you drink the coffee or caffeine, whatever your source of caffeine is, it makes you feel excited, energetic, because it's already blocked off that neurotransmitter. But after I did all of my research, I found that if you take like a 7 to 12 day detox from caffeine, it kind of will reset those neurotransmitters in your brain, which is awesome because it doesn't take that long to reset it. So before I get started into how I felt in my experience with cutting out caffeine for 7 days, I kind of just want to go how I went about it and some tips I have for you guys if you want to attempt to cut out caffeine for a week. Here's some tips from me because I did it. So when I first started, I was like, I'm just gonna quit cold turkey. I can do that, it's fine, I'm not that addicted to it. No. First day, I felt completely fine, but by the second day, I was having some serious withdrawal symptoms. That included feeling super lethargic, I had a terrible headache, I felt super anxious, and I literally felt sick. And I felt like I had the flu or something. It was insane. I was having major withdrawal symptoms, which now that I think about it, I was dumb to think that I wouldn't, because caffeine is kind of like a drug. It's something that you can get addicted to very easily. Obviously I was, and I was drinking it for a very long period of time without any breaks. So I was actually at work on the second day, and I felt awful. Like, I was like kind of shaky and so tired, lethargic. My anxiety was really bad. I just felt terrible. So I got some advice from the lady that I work for, and she actually just quit caffeine or coffee for a period of time too, not too long ago. So I asked her, I was like, is this normal? Like, am I doing it right? First of all, she was like, you can't just quit cold turkey. That's really dumb because you're gonna have withdrawal symptoms. I know that now. But she said to wean yourself off of it, which I read about, but I thought I was strong and, you know, macho, and I thought I could do it, but obviously I could not. So that day, like later in the evening, I went to Starbucks and got a coffee because I was just feeling awful and I needed to go about it a different way. So the next morning I decided to do half a cup of normal caffeinated coffee and half of it with decaf. That's all I had for that day, and I felt so much better. I didn't feel any withdrawal symptoms. I did really want like my afternoon coffee. Like I was just craving it, and I could even like smell it almost. I know that sounds so crazy, but I really did. I could like smell coffee and I could taste it because that's just how addictions work. But yeah, that was just something that I noticed from that. And then this third day I had like a fourth of a cup of regular coffee and the rest was decaf, and felt fine that day too, completely fine. I still wanted it obviously, but I was good. And then the next day, the fourth day, is when I cut it out cold turkey. After that, that's when I started the 7 days without any caffeine at all. I felt completely fine. I actually felt more energized throughout the day, which is like weird because caffeine is supposed to give you energy, you know? But I didn't feel the need to like lay down or rest like halfway throughout the day, which is what I normally would want to do. Normally, sometimes I nanny full time, so whenever the kids I watch would go to sleep or go down for a nap, I would sometimes fall asleep too. So I didn't do that at all over the 7 days that I didn't have caffeine. And I also just felt like a lot more level-headed, and like I felt like I could think and make decisions a little bit better, if that makes sense. Like I didn't feel as like all over the place and scatterbrained. And over the course of the 7 days, I did have a decaf coffee in the morning, which I made it with my Keurig because that was just part of my morning ritual, is to have coffee in the morning, like a hot cup of coffee. I just love it. It's something that helps me get out of bed in the morning. It's just something I really look forward to every day. So I still did that. And let me just tell you, decaf coffee does not taste the same. It is not as good. It is like almost watered down. Not good, but it's better than nothing. And after the 7 days, I did continue to drink coffee, and I noticed the first day that I introduced caffeine back into my diet, I could feel it more, if that makes sense. Like I did feel a little jittery after my first cup of coffee, and before I did the little detox, I would not feel coffee at all. Like I didn't feel the effects. I never felt jittery. Like I could have a ton of caffeine and never feel the effects of caffeine, like the jitters or like super energized. But I did notice that I was in a great mood after I introduced caffeine back in, because it is a stimulant. It makes your mood better. So overall, the whole reason why I wanted to stop is because 1, I wanted to give my adrenal glands a break. 2, I wanted to give my cortisol levels a little break, because if you are drinking too much caffeine all the time, it can really spike your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and stress is like cancer to the body. And 3, I just wanted to have more energy and to kind of reset those neurotransmitters in my brain that I talked about earlier. If you are interested in cutting out caffeine for a week, I definitely recommend it, because it made me feel so much better, and I don't feel like I have to rely on caffeine at all, because all my neurotransmitters are reset, I guess. And I also recommend to not cut it out cold turkey, especially if you have been super addicted to it like I have for the past like 7 years of your life. Definitely wean into it, because I felt absolutely terrible. So definitely do what I did, start with half a cup and then move on until you eventually cut it all the way out, and then you won't feel the withdrawal symptoms. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'll pop up my username right here so you guys can go follow me and ask me any questions you have. So I definitely recommend doing it, because it made me feel amazing, and I don't feel like I'm relying on it all the time like I used to. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I know it's a little bit shorter than normal, but don't worry, I'm gonna have another one coming out sometime this week. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go outside and do something that makes you happy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!